You're going to die in there.
Well, on that note, let's get started. Hey Internet, my name is Todd, and you're listening to SideQuestsLive. Thanks for joining. You can catch all of our stuff on YouTube, on Twitch. You can also check out all the podcast stuff on all your various podcast places. I personally like Podbean. Lots of people like iTunes and other things. Anyway, you know, if you're listening to this, you know how to find it. So check us out whenever we post new content. And tonight we're going to be playing some more custom RPG. What's the system called again, Brendan? I forget. Sorry, one second. Let me turn your microphone on. There we go. Go for it.
That was a mean trick.
Yeah, there's so many buttons on my end. In my defense, there's a lot of buttons.
We call the system the Rediscovered World. We also call the campaign setting the Rediscovered World. But it's a fairly built-out rule set, and I like it. Anyways, and this is our fifth game in this campaign. You guys are all level 5, and we're gonna jump right in. I think I listened to the last session, and I was saying a lot. So my resolution for this session is to not say so much.
Absolutely. No ums about it. And I haven't decided on an episode name yet, but I think the particular campaign name thus far is Tree of Wands, or at least this, whatever this is. Yeah. And of course, I don't know, do we want to just name it later? Or we can just pick a random name and try to live up to it?
I think it's more fun when we pick the names for the individual sessions later. But the campaign is Tree of Wands.
Nice. All right.
So, anyways, I'm going to do a bit of hand waving because I said this already on WhatsApp. You guys spent the last episode fighting goblins and a goblin catapult, and you had a lot of fun. But the numbers of goblins have been steadily increasing, and so you decided to go back to the walled hamlet of Avondale. This is also me just sort of nudging the plot along. I don't want you guys to be fighting goblins every session. It's so boring. Anyways, so I'm nudging along. You show up in Avondale, and you are immediately greeted by some people who saw that you defeated a small rabble of goblins, and you're given a bit of a hero's welcome. Not a huge hero's welcome. Everybody is still worried about the sort of onslaught of goblin hordes coming towards the
we killed a good 3% of that horde.
Yeah.
You need to feast in our name.
Yes,
that's right.
Don't save up any of your food and water. Just feast right now. Yeah. Anyways. The huge sort of portcullis door is opened just a smidge for you to get in, and then closed right back up again and reinforced with logs and things. The people are very clearly frightened, and a runner comes down from Avondale Keep to say that you're wanted inside the keep to speak with the Contessa. And so you have that invitation. It's like a standing invitation, but you might want to hurry along. I posted some information on the thread and WhatsApp for things that people might want to buy. I want to make sure that you have a chance to spend that gold that you received. The other thing that I want to sort of twig for you is that when you went up in the airship to gather moonstones and stardust, you made a deal with Yasmina Al-Kindi, who is that Apollyon Gorgon merchant, that you would split the winnings with her. Of course, the airship was destroyed, you were whisked off to a wizard tower, so forth. You can try to find her again to split those winnings, or you can just make like you were killed in the crash, and keep all the moonstones for yourself. So, and it's really up to you. But do stay in character. And I'm going to leave it to you. Oh, so today we have Devin, who's playing John Normalman again, and we have Bo, who is playing the overt vampire La Habria.
He's not overt.
I feel like
Covert.
John is smart
Very
enough
covert.
that he's figured out something's going on.
After you just like sort of leaned over that one goblin for no reason at one point.
Like all
Why is
four
he
of
kissing
them,
that guy's neck?
all four of
I'm
them
telling
like
the secret.
became entranced. Like canonically, he was David Bowie.
It was codpiece and everything. So it was all good.
And of course, our magnanimous host Todd, who is playing the Tanuki stowaway weirdo alchemist Elroy. So with the three of you in town, just jam all those descriptors together. With the three of you now back in Avondale, you have the opportunity to go and visit the deep gnome Devlinster, who sells potions and things. You can meet with the big Minotaur Smith, Aristocles. You can go and get yourself some armor, some weapons. Level 5 gave you the chance to multi-class, so I'm pretty sure that John Normalman multi-class, so you're now a fighter brawler, right?
So I went and bought some brass knuckles.
Okay, so you got some nice brass knuckles. Anything that's going to say across them? No regrets, never die, something like that?
No, they are functional and unadorned. They are as generic as possible.
Good.
You want to have no name written on them, like no name brand?
But it's KNOW.
Yes, no name. Okay.
I was, you know what? I was thinking I might take you up on your previous mention, because originally I was going to avoid multi-classing. Like, this is just everybody stop everything you're doing. I was gonna not multi-class, but we're back. We're definitely gonna multi-class.
I have to get one of those sound effect machines.
It's good fun. I use voice mod for anybody who wants to know, and Sirenscape, and a bunch of Creative Commons music. No matter what YouTube says, and no matter what they're like, that's a hit. It's like, algorithm, you're wrong. It's posted. It's in the stream. You're wrong. But anyway, I was thinking I might do Gunslinger, because you literally just mentioned the word gunslinger, and I was like, I'm in.
Tanuki Gunslinger, do we change the rules that you have to be a certain level of strength to fire a gun?
There are some guns that you can purchase that
like
but it's
the double and the
yeah, that's right. So there are smaller firearms, like for bigger ones, like like a blunderbuss. You'll need more strength. But
I mean,
for the
we killed a
ones,
sapper, a goblin sapper, and I kind of feel like canonically, or like retroactively, I could just picture this little raccoon Elroy kind of sifting through the rubble just before he leaves to climb back on their like stolen siege weapon, and he pulls out this busted, charred remains of an old like pistol, and he's just like, "What is this?
I must master this.
This looks fun."
Instead of throwing bullets, I throw little lead balls of pain. Instead of potions, I throw little lead balls of pain.
Exactly. Now, of course, I'm gonna have to go buy that and all of that, but I figure he's at least seen it and got the idea from the Goblin Sapper.
Okay, so are you going to do that right now?
If you don't mind,
sure.
It will take a few moments for me to just. Oh, you know what? We're still working from Rediscovered World Rule Set Gold Edition.
Yes.
Fantastic. So I should be able to add that stuff myself.
Yep.
It'll just take me a moment in the background. So ignore me for a little while as Basically, Elroy is just staring at and tinkering with this old thing and like buys the components to get it back to working order.
Dev, Bo, did you guys need to do any tinkering with your character sheets?
I bought some brass knuckles, but that's about it. I feel like I should probably buy another potion because I don't think either of you are going to be good at healing.
What are you talking about?
You don't do any healing.
I do not.
Vampires are great at healing.
I do
Yeah.
zero.
You drain other things of their health and heal yourself.
Allegedly,
Now, that is a problem with me multi-classing, is I won't be getting my... Like, I'll still be an alchemist, but I won't be getting my EP all the time.
You won't be as alchemisty, but you'll be half gunny.
Exactly.
And guns do a shit ton of damage. So
that's
you
what I
went
was
from
figuring.
you went from being support to striker.
Yeah.
You're a sus striker.
And I hadn't decided what my fourth like proficiency thing was going to be, so I guess that'll be firearms. I think that's how that works, right?
Brendan, what's the difference between a parapat of health and a tonic or a potion?
The Periapt, if I'm not mistaken, lets you increase your maximum HP by a certain amount. So it's almost like a pick-me-up kind of thing. So you go in with higher max.
Okay. And so then the tonic versus potion versus elixir?
Tonic, potion, elixir, they each just heal more.
Okay.
So a tonic is cheap. Potion heals a little bit more than a tonic. And an elixir... I'll have to check the rules, but I think an elixir heals you if you're dropped. Not like back to full, but it brings you back up from being dropped. Which is pretty useful if you don't have, a cleric or
that's about that.
Or a thaumaturge in the party.
Now, technically, I can do that. I do have, if I get my AP. Technically.
But then you also have to randomly roll to make sure you're not throwing fireballs at us, right?
No, I think I get to pick when I rummage.
Oh, that's nice.
That's handy.
So I get a revitalizing concoction.
Oh.
But the number of concoctions that you know how to make, so that the number that would actually be in your bag, is dependent on your intelligence.
Exactly.
So if you have int of, I can't remember the cap, but you need to have more int if you want to have, like, if you want to be able to pull soft potions and other stuff like that out of your bag, you have to have a much higher int.
So I have int 4, so I believe that means I get 4 different kinds.
Okay.
So there are certain things I cannot do, and we'll find out in game which ones those are.
Yeah. Okay.
Just before we're done though, Brendan, which kind of gun do you want me to have pillaged slash tinkered back into existence?
Well, I think it seems fair that you would pay something.
I figure I'd pay for
such
parts and reassemble the goblin sappers nonsense.
Exactly. You'd come in and you'd be like this muzzle is made out of, like, I don't know, antler or bone or something like that. Like, surely we can get some brass and stick a trumpet into
I'll
this
have
goblin
old
rock thrower.
Old potion like funnels and stuff, and evaporation tubes, and break it off. And anyway, I'll buy parts to fix it. And by the way, I do actually have the strength to be able to handle a blunderbuss or a derringer. I have strength too. Okay.
Well, I mean, let's open it up. Also, just for visual purposes, I think it'd be pretty cool if your firearm wasn't just based on a standard gunpowder explosion propulsion type mechanism, but rather you have a bunch of vials or bottles kind of attached to it. They kind of bubble for no reason right before it fires. They just kind of reach it's almost like a tea kettle style projectile, right?
It's a steam power rifle.
Because it's alchemical, right? It's not. It's not. All right.
I'm going to turn this lead into death.
Would you rather I do derringer or blunderbuss?
to you, really, but I think that to get the full effect of Derringers, you need that dual wield ability, because you can use two.
Let's go
So with the
blunderbuss then.
Yeah.
You might have a new ability at level 5, and then being able to fire guns might be an auto gunslinger
Oh, is that the case?
ability. I am not sure. I am not looking at the rules.
Let's go with blunderbuss just so we can move things along.
Sounds good.
Agreed. Yeah. As for myself, for some reason I can't be healed by other means, by normal means. So
you're cursed.
I'm cursed. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I didn't have this problem before. I don't know what happened exactly, but anyway, I would pick up a couple potions of health.
Yep.
Let's say
That makes
4.
sense.
How much
Yeah,
were they
that
again
makes
for the
sense.
potions?
Potions were 10.
10. Okay. Yeah, I'll just.
And I believe they are 2d4 plus 4?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got 2 of those now as well.
Okay, so I'm down to 10 GP then. Cool.
Just for visuals, Devlinster, the deep gnome, is dressed in his very dark gray and black puritanical type clothing. You know, he's got the hat with the buckle, and he's sitting on a little wooden stool that's basically the height of a footstool, and his feet are kind of like not touching the ground. And he's busy like grinding things in like the smallest mortar and pestle you've ever seen. He's actually trying to like grind a single pink pearl into dust that he can use for one of his alchemical concoctions. And of course, Elroy recognizes some of what's being done here, but Elroy doesn't have a fully furnished and stocked.
I see what you're doing there. You know, you're gonna burn the wolfsbane. You should.
It's like when people see each other like short order chefs making eggs, and they're like, "No, you don't do like that."
There is a kind of code where you don't comment. You just sit back and you watch them burn it, and then you sit there being like,
It's kind of terrible code.
Actually, just so you know, I am gonna take a dagger as well, just in case.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh,
and of course,
actually, I'm not. I'm gonna take. Sorry, I'm getting all thingy. Isn't there like a specialty where you specialize in a weapon?
Mastery.
Weapon mastery.
Yep. Yeah.
Can I do
It
that?
allows you to re-roll fumbles.
Oh, can I do that for firearms?
It's pretty handy.
You can't do it for firearms because firearms is treated almost like a spell, basically.
Right.
So you can't fumble a spell.
Never mind. I'll do one-handed weapons and a dagger, just so I have something in my back pocket.
Yep. It was good to be able to whip out a dagger. All right. Any other shopping or character build type stuff? What do you guys want to do?
John is going to suggest that we keep our deal with the Opalion, just because while I can blend in, y'all can't, and having an angry Gorgon in a city where we are likely to be besieged for a while is probably not the best idea.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. She would very likely be tracking us down after we disappeared. So I think we should maybe actually meet with her first.
Yeah, and then head off and see the fancy lady.
Okay.
Yeah. They might not be that happy about how we kind of destroyed the ship thing.
We got Stardust.
So you head back to the inn, and it's cozy. You've got these these high back leather chairs, sort of strong stone dwarven construction. Lots of ales being passed around, and of course there are the there are the pies and things that are coming straight out of this huge sort of wood burning hearth, and there's a big bubbling cauldron of soup as well, and the satyr who was playing the pipes is still there, and he's clippity clopping to keep time and playing pipes. And you go in and you look around, and people are obviously trying to keep the mood up, but it's rather difficult when you know that there's a potential siege coming up outside, and you don't know whether you're going to be drinking the last good frothy mug of ale in a long time, and so some people are drinking too much, some people are drinking too little. But as you look around, you pretty quickly see the table where those two brass clockworks with the very large mustaches are sitting with the slightly short woman who's wearing the veil that goes over her face and over her enormous hair, which sometimes rustles and rattles and hisses. And you go and you sit down, and she has a slight accent. She is very happy to see you. She goes, "Oh, thank goodness. You lived. I'm so happy that you survived. Don't even breathe a word about the airship. It's fine. I'm just so pleased that you lived. It would have been a terrible tragedy if you had died. And I'm so glad you've come to see me, because it would be a terrible tragedy if I'd have you killed. And so, tell me, were you able to retrieve any stardust or moonstones?"
I have to admit, I was quite surprised that it sounded things were going very, very well, that you were very pleased to see us, and then I knew that once you said you'd have us killed, that we're on track. So we did manage to fish quite a bit of stardust during our brief yet profitable venture. And as we agreed, we'd be sharing half of what we acquired.
So, and I'll do this off screen. Are you going to give her half, or are you going to give her a little less?
I'll give her half of mine. I have no real use for the rest of it, so other than cash.
I was not there for that game, so I will also give half. Half of my nothing.
Elroy.
Are you nuts?
Hi, I'm Elroy. I was instrumental in saving all of our bottoms. Sorta. I tried to save your ship. It was a nice ship. It really was. I'm sorry about that, but the wyvern... who counts on a wyvern? I thought those things were extinct.
I need to pause also, because everybody pronounces wyvern or wyvern differently.
I'm not from here.
I always said wyvern.
What? I'm a wyvern kind of.
Okay, this is our first
elf.
Internet poll. Let's just stop the whole thing.
No, I don't want to hear what the internet has to say.
Wyvern,
It's
wyvern,
GIF.
or
It's GIF.
wyvern.
No, weaver.
Wyvern.
Weavern?
Yeah,
From the deep
Weaver.
south.
I've
Hey, here
always
comes
said
cousin
Here comes
Weaver.
the weevil coming to take all
All
the
right,
news.
all right.
Entire game gets derailed by this. We're going to just spend the next
Okay,
30 minutes.
All right.
The big W came by.
Yeah,
And,
You know what? It's
the
on.
two-legged dragon.
Wyvern. Wyvern.
That's supposed to be the combat music.
Wyvern.
You're wasting the combat music.
Sorry.
Okay.
This is a
We're
combat.
Back to the
fighting.
bar.
So you split your moonstones and stardust with
Mhm.
Yasmin Al-Kinji, and she thanks you, and she says, "I understand that you have an appointment at the keep with the Contessa."
The word gets around, it would seem.
Not to everyone. And she says that if you wish, she'll sell you some of her own wares at a discounted rate, but that we can discuss it later because you have an appointment.
New shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Unlock.
Maybe some other effects too. But so you head up into the keep. The keep at Avondale is not it's not particularly opulent. It's not particularly large. It's a small provincial type castle that is was probably quite defensible at one time. It was probably sort of had the defenses that were all the rage, but has siege technology and castles and fortifications, and then sort of the general wealth of the kingdom of Tiberia has increased such that this this castle, while not dilapidated, I mean, it's still nicely kept up, is certainly not a strong modern fortress. And so, there are narrow windows for archers. There's a big portcullis that lowers down, and there are some, there's some towers in the corners, and the towers themselves are rounded so that there's a bit of a line of fire here and there. But it is basically still just a quite sort of boxy, the stonework is not that thick, i.e. Somebody with sufficient number of catapults could probably bring down these walls. And so you head up into the stairs. There are a number of knights who are all wearing the crest of Aventail, which is actually, funnily enough, the thing that goes onto the back of a knight's helmet that's made out of chainmail. It just hangs down over the back of the neck. That is an Aventail, spelled differently. And so they have that on their crest. It's red and gold, and then they have this thing that hangs down over the stylized black image of a helmet. And they all sort of follow you with their eyes, but nobody makes any move to stop you. You go in, nice sort of runners and carpets. There are some pennants hanging from the ceiling. Various visitors have come through. There are many dignitaries and guests, and sometimes the dwarves are hosted there. And there are some people who keep rooms in the keep. But most of the lower rooms are dedicated to servants and various people who are permanently employed by the Contessa, so they're constantly, making pottery, making clothing, making nice things, and just generally keeping up the castle. And so you head up, and you are brought into a room that has like a little wooden pianoforte, and it has a nice sort of like a chaise that has actually been woven, and it has like silk cushions and things like that. And there are a variety of tables, and some of them have very nice teapots and things like that. And there are plenty of decorations on the walls. It's very well lit, not with candles, but with nice alchemical brass lamps that are either they have either glowing sunstones, or they have things of that nature. And there in the keep is Contessa Vincenza, and she is a quite small, quite plump, quite jolly, rosy-cheeked looking woman, and she's petting a little kobold, and she's going, "Oh, there, Pookie, oh, there, Pookie, it's okay. It's okay, I won't let the goblins hurt you, Pookie." And she's just covered in crumbs, right? Like ladyfingers and biscuits and shortbread and everything you can imagine. Just she's covered with these crumbs. And Pookie is sort of like lapping up crumbs with his forked tongue. A kobold it looks a little bit like a scaly orange dog kind of thing. They're not very bright. They don't have much in the way of language, and very few people keep them as pets because they're generally quite mean. But anyway, she has this thing named Pookie. And standing about the room are knights who have just resplendent armor, right? Just, mirrors. You could see yourself in the steel. And also in some very nice looking chairs are her two key advisors, one of whom is the merchant Yasmina Alkindi, who you spoke with like 20 minutes ago. And she's there, although she's dressed up a little bit more. She has a lot more jewelry on her fingers, a ring with a different gem on every finger. And also there's the very old friar, Elijah, who you met at the Basilica of St. Winifred. And Elijah, he's this doddering old, but he recognizes Normalman. He goes, "Oh yeah, I remember you came in. I saw you with your mace. You just beat that goblin. Oh, I used to have a mace when I was younger." Anyway,
I give him a little.
Yeah. No. So Friar Elijah likes you, and Alkindi has respect for you as well, because you didn't renege on your deal. So you come into the room already.
That would have been awkward.
Yeah, it would have been. But you come into the room with a modicum of respect already, and so Vincenza looks up from Pookie, and she says, "Oh, who are you?" Anyways, slowly, you're able to have a conversation with her. She's not really up to speed on things. She relies pretty heavily on her advisors, who advise her in matters of trade and keeping the faith, and generally she doesn't wade into politics too much, even though she is the political head of all of Southumbria. And so you learn that the Tree of Wands is dying.
Oh.
This is a secret. No one knows this, but all of the gardeners who take care of the Tree of Wands, which is visible from the sort of very high windows, you can sort of look down. You can see this beautiful silvery tree. It is dying, and they've been struggling to try and find out why. Now, there are some mages who they have been in contact with, not necessarily in Avondale, but they've been exchanging correspondence, trying to figure out what might be causing this tree to die. And they've written to elves, they've written to woodwoses, and they've come to the conclusion that there is something, a magical thing that is causing this tree that was previously undying. This tree has been there for many, many centuries, is now starting to die. Now, this is of particular interest to you because you know from Kemet, the Archmage in the tower, that one of the omens that is going to usher in the return of Kava, the primordial, is that the Tree of Wands will die. A series of different omens have already taken place, including the river turning black as ink, the bell sounding 13 times, the heroes falling and Kava smiling from the sky. You fell. Kemet caught you. He now thinks that you're the heroes. And Kava did smile from the sky. The meteors created a zigzag pattern that looked much like Kava's smile, at least from drawings. And so a lot of these omens have been happening, and the Tree of Wands dying is a key omen. And so this has people pretty worked up because although they might not know as much as Kemet does about the Oracle and the prophecy, they do know that the Tree of Wands dying is a very bad omen. If it does die, it signals the fall of the kingdom of Tiberia. So they're very upset about this. And they think that the reason why the goblins are laying siege is because they want to ensure that the Tree of Wands dies. This is pretty clear from the fact that many of the goblins are shouting about Kava Mama, which is how they refer to Kava. They think Kava is going to come and help them. Somehow they're goblins. Nobody understands why they do what they do, but they love Kava Mama. And so they want Kava to come back and lay waste to the world for some reason. Anyways.
If I can't have her, no one shall.
So, as you're having this conversation, Elijah says that his sources have told him that there is very likely an idol of Kava, and if this idol did exist, its magic would be working to fulfill the prophecy. And so, if this idol can be found and destroyed, then the Tree of Wands might stop dying. And Contessa Vincenza is thinking, she's going, couldn't we just use magic to make all the goblins go away? Couldn't we just use some magic or something? And everybody says, no, we can't do that. There's no magic strong enough. And she says, well, what if we cut down the Tree of Wands? Well, what if we just cut cut the branches and then use them as wands. They're wands. They're wands.
I'm not a gardener, but I've seen some trees before, and when you cut a tree down, it usually dies.
In my experience, most cut trees are now wood instead of being tree. It's very fine.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
So she still seems pretty kind of interested in this idea of cutting it down for the wands. But anyways, as this conversation is going on and nobody's really
cut down half of the tree and use it as wands, and then leave the other half. That's probably okay, right?
Yeah, the top half, cut that off, and then we should be
like
bottom
prune
half, right?
it.
No, I would like cut it right down the middle, like you would when you were splitting a baby.
Cut every other branch.
So
now, is it where you peel the bark all the way around the outside, then it kills it? So you don't want to do that. Or wait, is that for babies? You don't want to peel all the skin off of babies. Wait, that's really gross. I'm sorry.
But what?
So
I grew up
if
in
you guys
carnival.
wanna
You have to understand. I say things.
If you guys do want to cut down the tree of wands, that's okay. We can just jump many chapters forward in this campaign.
I would rather not.
You
I have a
sure?
question.
Let's
Because
get
I can just
in our own
scroll
due
all
time.
the way down on my phone to the stats that appear at the bottom. But
Okay, but we need to grind between now and then. We gotta get those.
Anyways, as you are speaking, you hear this like clank, 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 and the doors burst open. These knights, they very quickly pull it back, and immediately all the knights are like standing at attention, and this very tall, pale,
I put back the
severe-looking,
silverware that I was palming.
a wood elf woman strides into the room. She's wearing plate armor that's battle worn but impeccably maintained, customized for ease of movement, not feminine beauty. This isn't one of those sets of armors that we sometimes see in fantasy fiction.
Enough of that.
She has
I just
blonde
make
hair
fun of
that's
those chainmail
it's
bikini.
shaved down
No,
to
thank you.
stubble on one side, and then it's in tight braids on the other side. There's a scar that runs from the bridge of her nose under her eye, and then cuts off the sharp tip of her left ear. Just props it.
John is in love.
That's an interesting plot device. She might be considered beautiful to some. She has very bright turquoise eyes, but there's nothing remotely cute about her. She has like the stare of a zealot, and when she comes into the room, people are either noticeably afraid or they're standing at attention. And
John will also stand at attention.
One of the knights announces her as Commander Amara, and Vincenzo's like, oh good, oh Amara, like she's like, Amara, can you get rid of the goblins? And Amara does this sort of like kneels, and then stands up again, and looks at you all, and says, I have arranged a strike force to go out into the legion of goblins and try to retrieve this idol that Friar Elijah has spoken of. I'm going to do it, and I have good intelligence as to where it might be. And everybody's like, oh, tell us. And she says that amongst the goblins, there are also orc mercenaries. Someone must be paying the orcs. Someone must know something. The orcs may have the idol, or at least they know who is controlling things. These goblins, and I've killed many of them now, because we've gone on several sorties to test their defenses and take count of their numbers. These goblins are acting organized, and they're well provisioned. They have weaponry that is well beyond the intelligence of goblins to make. They're obviously being controlled by someone. Some of them even seem to have some magic, as if they've been handed scrolls and wands and cantrips. and it is clear that they are being controlled and commanded by someone. We have found the orcs. We know which hill they are on, and so I propose that we send a small strike force into the hills to attack the orcs, and everybody's like, hang on. Yasmina says, we need to preserve as much of our defenses here in Avondale, because this is where the people are. And Elijah is like, oh, I wish I could go, but no, I can't. I'm old now. And so Amara looks at you and says, there are reports that you yourselves were outside the keep and that you fought with the goblins. Surely we can spare them. And everybody's like, I don't know about this. So what do you guys want to do? And I'm going to say that John Normalman, because he is smitten, is going to do whatever she suggests.
That's what I was going to say as well. I am yours to command. Like, mace out, down in the knee.
Willpower check.
She is a commander, and he's down for it.
Wow.
Oh, we usually ask for payment, don't we? Do we? I mean,
something else is gonna drop. Yasmina is going to say, is gonna say, orcs. That's very odd, because I had heard that the leader was a vampire. And
well.
Suddenly, La Habrea is interested.
Where did you get that information? I was not aware there was a vampire in this area.
She gets into a lengthy explanation about how
nowhere around here.
To create
There's none.
the idol would require a lot of necromancy.
Interesting.
And it's not the kind of thing that living being.
La Habrea, weren't you hunting vampires? Didn't you come here specifically to hunt Well, I guess you got two on your team now, Commander.
Now
I'm going to volunteer for him.
Now you listen here. I am in fact looking for vampires, and that's one of the reasons I came to this region. A question I have about this idol, actually, is if it were created by a powerful vampire, which you suggest it has been, what would the range of said idol be? Because if we're going to where they are, how far away are we talking that it could affect an artifact like that could affect a tree inside this great city?
What would the range be?
Like 100 miles? Is it within a day's march?
They're not basically like Friar Elijah and Yasmina Al-Kindi and Amara, Commander Amara. Like they start like debating this, and Friar Elijah seems to think that it depends on like the holder, the holder of the idol, depending on the strength of spirit and will. And Al-Kindi is like the archmages that she knows in Apalia. She even knows a Rakshasa in Apalia. You guys know Rakshasa. It's like a panther or a tiger from the waist up. Stands like a human. Anyway,
backwards hands.
These very very good sources tell her that the range could be nearly limitless. And Amara basically just with a gauntleted hand is just like, none of this matters. We must strike. We're not yet surrounded. We need to strike now. Go straight for their leaders. I'm not going to wait around.
I agree with Amara.
So she says that she is going to take 4 knights, the 3 of you, and herself, and she's going to go up to the hill where the orcs have been spotted, and she is going to try to get the idol, kill them all, and find out whatever she can. And if there's a vampire there as well, she'll kill that too.
That's very ambitious of you.
I feel like the chances of there being a vampire on that hill are good.
I would say so. First time the vampires have seen this in this area for a very long time. So I'm going to make it clear to her that I'm doing this not because she's commanding me to do it, because I want to see this vampire destroy this idol. I'm not a John type. Sorry.
And just to be clear, I mean, what kind of payment are we gonna? And at this point, I drop like the 4 silver and gold, like candelabra type situations fall out of my pack and like clang on the ground and like a bunch of cutlery. How did that get in? Fine.
And so once it's decided, there's like a huge relief off of Contessa Vincenza's shoulders. She's like, "Oh, phew, it's been decided." And she's like, "Wonderful, this is great. Could we have some more tea?" And then like a servant who's like obviously like just spends all day like running back and forth, just like goes out and gets like more biscuits, just like loads them onto one of those, those high tea trays that has like 6 different layers.
Yeah, like, this is the life.
And Amara kind of like casts a glance at the 3 of you, like kind of like sizes you up and finds you somewhat wanting, and then basically like points to one of the knights in the room, but not the others, and says, "You're with me," and then basically just makes for the door.
I'm sorry,
and you
John.
Follow her close on her heels. As she's walking, a lot of knights are like standing there, like kind of like, pick me, and she selects a few, like you, no, get out of my sight, not you, you're still injured, and like you, and like she's picking them, and you can't see any reason why she's picking who she's picking, but she takes 4 knights. And she heads straight out to the doors, and everybody just gets out of her way. Whether it be the sort of the guards or the people who are operating the portcullis, everybody gets out of her way. But before you leave, she turns around as she's about to exit, and she says, "We're about to head into a very dangerous situation. I'm not going to be here to hold your hands. You need to take care of yourselves. My knights are going to hold off the goblins by whatever means necessary to give us the opportunity to get to the encampment where the orcs have been spotted. I am going to kill as many of those orcs as I can. You must help to the best of your abilities. And whatever we get, we are going to head back to Avondale. If you are injured, or if you're slow, or if you decide to go elsewhere, I'm not going to stay with you. I'm going to go back to Avondale, and I'm going to bring as many heads and as many pieces of information as I can. And if I find that idol, I will destroy it. That is my oath." And so she says all this to you.
John, you gotta... I just nudge him and like kick it, like stand in front of him and is raging, like drooling.
Man erection.
Like, that is not normal, man.
Average.
I could hear you pause to be like, how PG-13 is...
No, I think we threw that out the window a while ago.
And it's like...
There's a reason we're not using last names.
Yes. Well, after I broke that wall by accidentally naming the inn the Coal Seam Inn.
No, I think it was the dry polling last time.
Yeah,
I thought I turned over a new leaf, but then I realized half the fun is just saying the first thing that comes into our head.
That's right.
Have we had a chance to heal up from the last game?
I'm going to say you did. When you went back to the inn, you guys dropped a coin on the table, and you got a little bit to eat, and you also went up and crashed in the beds just to nap. I don't think I think that Elroy was pretty injured the last go
quite, I
around,
think.
but you had healing, so I'm gonna say maybe you were able to sort of brew yourself up a little.
Yeah, I've got my field medicine proficiency, so I get to do HP or to an ally equal to int plus d6, and I did that a while ago, but if we had another opportunity, I'd do it again.
I'm going to say you had plenty of opportunity because you ought to be full prior to this session, but let me make perfectly clear, if you are trapped outside the walls of Aventail, you will not have such an easy time healing to full, because there are no inns in these hills filled with goblins.
There's no ins in the outs.
Yep.
Oh.
I want to take a quick break just to use the facilities, and then we'll hop back in. So if you guys want to talk strategy at all, or think about anything you want to do, the game plan is going to be that you and these knights are going to try to stealth around a bunch of goblins who are going towards Aventail, and you're going to try and get up to the top of the hill, where you think there are going to be a bunch of orcs.
I have some ideas, but we'll talk about it on a quick break. So I'll throw to a break screen, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
So this seems kind of suicidal, hey?
Yeah, just a bit. Internet, if you want to weigh in, we are. I think our. How do you pronounce wyvern? I believe was our question.
Hey,
three
Wyvern,
different ways.
Wyvern, and wyvern.
That's cool.
There are 3 different ways that are accepted. Yeah.
So what are the 3?
So wyvern, wyvern, and weavern. They're all acceptable.
Huh.
They're all accepted. I don't know if the internet is such an accepting place. So we'll find out if anybody wants to throw that in comments after the fact or live. We'll be back.
Well, I'm Team Wyvern, so
Team Wyvern.
I think I'm getting those comments.
Wyvern?
Wyvern all the way.
Nah, I think I'm also Wyvern. All right. Well, we'll see what the internet has to say, and we'll be back in a few. And let's come on back after a short break. We return to the action. To the action.
Brought to you by Action.
Okay.
Which is the nickname of Brendan's Christmas present. Anyway.
So they, the knights push open the door, oh, by the way, do you want to try and do this at night or during the day?
If we're sneaky, we want nighttime, yes?
Yes.
Aren't goblin and orcs vision better at night? They hang out in holes all day.
They're good in,
Yeah. They're
But
polyvalent.
our vision is better during the day. So
Speak for yourself,
might
human.
be. It's right, buddy.
fuck you all.
Well, what are the knights? Are they human?
Yeah, they're human.
All right.
Maybe, I don't know, late afternoon, golden
Let's
hour
go with
maybe.
the brightest part of the day.
Yeah, let's
With the
start at like
sun
11.
Just beaming down onto you.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll carry the little umbrella.
You look a little pale there, La Habrea.
Well, right now, all you can see is like my eyes because I have like a hood over and like a little mask. Very allergic.
Actually,
Highly
that
allergic.
gives me an idea. I'm
Hay
gonna,
fever.
before we leave where we are, I'm just gonna find like, is there a kitchen around?
Must be for
Tell me what
making
you're gonna
biscuits.
do. There's got to be a kitchen in the inn.
All right. Can I sneak into the inn and I'm gonna try to steal a sieve or a colander that's about the same size as the front of my face?
Give me a stealth roll and a luck roll. So stealth
Deal.
is the lower of your int or dex plus 6, and then int, and then luck is just d6 unless you.
All
have
right. I'll take the luck roll will be a 5, and the
Okay, there is a
stealth
colander.
and the stealth roll is a total of 10.
Holy
Whoa.
smokes! Okay, yes, you
Sneaky.
kind of like there's basically people who are like carrying trays of ale and pies and things like that, and you kind of like zip between their legs and around their feet, and they're like whoa 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 whoa, but they don't see what you're doing, and you kind of like sneak back into the kitchen.
And I grab that. I grab a colander and I try it over my
Colander.
snout, and like it just fit over the face a little bit. And then I'll grab a bit of like cord or something. I'll steal some guy's belt or something. I don't know. And or
Right
just
off his
cord.
pants.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
back out into the main place, and I'm gonna rig it so I can put it over my face, and kind of like a mask, sort of like La Habrea, and then I'll just tuck it away.
Gotcha.
And for no reason at all, I'm just gonna RP that there's like an orc cook in the back who's like, and he like can't find the
Yeah.
colander.
He's got like a giant handful of like hot steaming potatoes. It's just like holding it like
Where's the colander? You're fired. Oh. You've got this
And I'll
job.
be fashioning that into a kind of a frame for a potential mask.
Okay.
Hmm.
Awesome. Okay. So you basically peel away from the portcullis as soon as it opens up enough for you to get out, and there are a couple of goblins who have sort of like arrived early, and one of them is like drumming, and the others are sort of like dancing. They're sort of like, Gangnam style dance that I assume goblins do, just waiting for the catapults to arrive.
yeah, I can see it.
And the minute you see them, there's arrows. There's arrows sticking out of them. Like the knights who are behind you are just like,
Ooh.
um,
Hey,
Whoa, all right.
and those goblins are down.
La Habrea.
And Amara, just with like a steel gauntleted fist, just like points to an area in the woods, and you immediately sort of start going triple time towards that wooded area.
La Habrea. La Habrea. Grab that
Yes.
goblin. Grab that goblin for me.
You want the goblin in question?
Yeah.
La Habrea is like,
Are you
I'm
strong?
not tired.
what goblin?
I'm not kissing anybody.
This is a sandwich.
So I
There's
want
just
to.
2 pieces of bread on the guy's neck.
I'm gonna pull out my new dagger when we've got some cover, and
Oh, we
I'm
did
gonna
sacrifice
get some
goblin?
help
Jeez,
from
dude.
La Habrea to carve off the goblin's face,
Oh, face off.
Face.
and then I'm gonna
Face.
poke out the eyes and wedge it onto the front of the colander. So I've got
I'm very impressed that
really
you were able to
rough-
slice off the face with the eyes intact, that you had to poke them out. That's
Sure.
Hey,
I'm
goblin
asking for
anatomy
La
is a little
Habrea's
weird that
help
way.
because he seems very slicey dicey.
It's true. Shink.
Okay. So,
You need me to roll?
so the knights are looking at you like this is gross. Like one of them is like, whoa. but Amara
first
kinda
time in the
looks at
field.
it and sort of like gives you a nod and says like, the raccoon has some good ideas. But you don't sort of like break pace.
Thank you, and
Um,
that's offensive. I'm a tanuki.
Anyways, you don't break pace. Basically, they get into this wooded area where there's a little bit of cover, and they look around, and there's a bit of a rocky trail where there's sort of like rocks that you would have to kind of clamber over, and then you'd be not visible to people in the valley. You have to clamber over some other rocks. Like you're basically going to have to kind of switch back to get up this hill. These hills are extremely steep. Just to remind you the context. So, if you have any bright ideas, you can certainly propose them. But basically, these knights are going up these hills and they're rolling stealth. And it seems as if Amara might have selected these knights for their stealth in particular, because despite the fact that they're wearing like armor, they seem pretty decent at it. Like it's not all like clankety clank. Like it's they've got sort of like an economy of movement that they're just kind of like getting like in and around trees. Maybe the plates of their armor have been oiled, and maybe they're seated in leather or something like that. But they're just getting up the hill, and they're doing it quickly. And when a goblin like sees you, it's like arrow to the face. So you're doing pretty well. But I am going to need you to start making stealth rolls.
Okay.
So let's see them.
5.
I rolled a 2, but that's still a 6.
That's all right.
Jeez.
Okay. So you guys are managing to sort of like keep pace and stay stealthy with these guys.
Wait, Todd, is your Dex and Int both 6?
They're both 4, and I rolled a 2.
Yeah.
Math is
So,
hard.
We made this game
That's
so the
not
math
actually-
wasn't hard.
I
It
know.
wasn't easy enough.
Excuse me, can we do less?
I'm gonna do the thing. You succeeded.
Play
These are
Punch.
simple integers.
Yeah, play one of the other games like Undeadwood or Herosity. It's even less math.
Yeah, that's true. Your stealth roll is pretty good. You come up to the hill and you find that there's actually a almost a circle of goblins that seem to be protecting the top of the hill. Like maybe there's some kind of a lookout point or something, which is not at all a goblin strategy. Right? Goblin strategy is like step on the face of the goblin in front of you to like get your shiv into like whatever you're trying to shiv. So like goblins sort of like forming a perimeter around the top of the hill is very weird. And so
I think
Amara
I'm
and the
gonna
knights-
put my face on and maybe throw up a little.
Amara
Surprise me
basically-
then.
I'll take a rag and tie it over my nose and like just try to wipe this thing out as best I can. and then I'll
She holds the
strap
knights
the whole
back.
thing on.
She holds the knife back, and she's like, "Blast! I've never seen this before. What are these goblins doing? It's like they've formed a perimeter. How are we supposed to break through without alerting them all?"
How tight's the perimeter?
Not
Like how-
tight.
Dude, I mean,
Not-
we're in the
not-
middle of something. You could ask her later. Like, I'm in your cups.
Ew.
I meant how much space is between the goblins. Like, if we took out 2 of them, could we sneak in without being spotted by the next one's over?
No, you'd have to take out like a good 10 of them.
Oh, really?
To like be like not seen by the goblins, like on the other side of
Right.
like sort of a rock face on part of the, like you could try to circle around the hill to see if there's like a better like access point, but you're gonna need to do something to either like kill 10 goblins simultaneously, like slit all their throats at the same time, or do something.
There's
Well,
8 of us.
I can volunteer
I
to
can probably-
scout and just get a
Yeah.
little closer.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
we
we
see
also we could
what's
cause some
around
sort of
the bend.
distraction, like
And I'll look at
like
the guard who threw up, or the knight who threw up earlier, and I'll pull my mask down. Like, how do I look?
Okay, so are you gonna try to sneak past the goblins while wearing the face, or are you gonna walk straight up to the goblins while wearing the face?
Figure I'd leave our position first and be stealthy, and then I'd like kind of pop up from behind a rock like I was just taking a piss, and like kind of make sure the tail's tucked before I come out, and then kind of shamble forward. That's kind of my plan, but I'm open to
Okay.
suggestions.
Anyone?
What if you? So as you do that, and you actually try to draw some of their attention, so bringing some of them maybe down.
yeah, like make it like you just came from somewhere else, and there's like a doings a brewing.
Yeah. Even
I
draw,
don't
even drawing a couple.
think I speak Goblin.
I don't think anyone. I don't think goblins speak goblin.
No.
Every goblin, you guys will recall this maybe from the previous session, but goblin language, like pretty much everything goblin, is stolen. So they use a lot of the same words that you do, but the meanings that they ascribe to them, you have no idea. So you could perhaps pass in goblin, but I would need to see a persuasion roll.
All right, I like
You can
this.
persuade.
The plan will be I'll try my best to cause a distraction on the far side,
Mhm.
and then you guys can up, and then back me up, and we see what's there, and maybe we murderate.
Okay?
Yeah.
So since you're gonna sneak over and then act as if you had just taken a leak, give me a stealth roll.
All
And
right.
I will make sure that the knights and the commander are aware of this plan.
Yes,
The secret.
good call.
And I'm gonna just double check. I actually wanted the knight to somebody to make sure that the mask is somewhat passable. Like I pull my
Okay.
hood up. Like,
Well, I did a great
eh.
job excising, so yeah, it should be good.
Okay.
I'm literally wearing the face, so stealth is gonna be 7.
Okay, definitely. They like they're too busy like just complaining.
It's like your
Give me
one
the
job
stealth
is to
music
be
every
lookout.
time. Yeah.
All right, I'll sneak a while, and then I'll kind of see a boulder thing that I can kind of pop up, and I don't want to actually be dropping my drawers, but I'll kind of like walk like I'm pulling up my pants, make sure that the
Mhm.
tail is good and tucked,
So
and then
you see one
shamble
goblin
forward.
and he's like picking his teeth with like a shiv that's obviously been made out of metal, and then like the tooth pops out and he's like, ah, and like he gets mad.
I'll pick it up for him and be like, ah,
And
Eat
he's
it.
like,
and I'll like toss it to him from I'm gonna try to keep my distance so he doesn't like see the slow rot.
Jim,
right.
I haven't seen you since grade school, Jim.
How you been? How are the kids?
Ah.
No, he's gonna be like, broomstick, bilgewater.
bucket of piss.
And so he kind of like looks at you a bit weird, but like he takes the tooth and he
And I'm gonna turn around and be like, why? Like I just heard something behind me. Like I'm on the opposite side of our group now and be like, what was that?
Oh, and he's gonna be like, rug burn, and then a bunch of other goblins are gonna sort of like run over and they're gonna be like, rug burn.
And I'm gonna
water.
time it so I'm like, huh! Like in that moment when you hear the crow cry in the distance, and I'll just wait for the silent. I'll count beats and then wait for that prime moment of like perfect jump scare on him, and then just be like I just heard something, and convince him that he just heard something.
Okay, I'm gonna need to see a persuasion roll for this.
Is that?
And I also want you to say something in Goblin.
What's the we don't? Is there a persuasion skill?
So it's a D6 unless you have this as like ability.
All right then, just straight up D6.
Straight up D6.
Oh wait a minute,
Will...
hold on. Gunslinger under RP. Oh sorry, under NCS gets cheat. No one gets to be a High Plains drifter without learning how to bluff. So. I don't know what mechanic that might let me
I'll give you advantage on your D6.
Yeah. All right. So, and I have to say something in Goblin, so I'm going to be like,
yeah.
Rotten mother milk. Okay, first one was a 2. Second one was a 5.
Okay. So they're going to be like, mother milk. And they're basically all going to like run down the hill towards the like made up distraction that you have set out for them.
Can I see if can I go for EP outside of combat?
I'm gonna say not in this case.
Okay, I'm already busy. I just was wondering if I could rummage. You let me know when I get the chance.
Okay, a bunch of them just start running down the hill. And at that moment, there's like an opening in the perimeter, like a pretty wide opening in the perimeter. And so everybody give me a stealth roll, and you will maybe make it through. I'm also going to roll a stealth for all the knights to see if anybody screwed this up.
And I'll just be kind of running with the goblins for a little bit, and then I'll kind of fall back like I got a stitch in my side.
You're all good. You've all made it through, and so did the knights. I critted. And so you make it to the top of the hill, and sure enough, there is a very clear orc encampment. The grass has been burned away and flattened. There are tents that have been put up. Most of the tents have like mammoth tusks as tent poles, so they kind of like curve up and out. They've been solidified with like mud and clay and frankly, on the sides, just to like harden the base, and it's just skins that have been stitched together, not like delicately stitched, but like just like sinew has just been pulled through, and there's smoke that's billowing out. There are some like stakes that have been put in the ground that have a lot of like dangling like bones on strings. Like there's a lot of like ritual stuff going on, and there's also like a very big drum that's being beaten, and it's just like a boom, 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 boom. Like it's not like a goblin like rat tat tat kind of drum. And inside this hut or this tent that's filled with smoke. And there are a few others, and you see some like weapons, just sort of like racks that are hanging there. And there are obviously a number of orcs who are in there. You see one who's kind of like walking around, and you see another that has some kind of large circle on a stand that seems to be some kind of looking device. Like it has sort of like a sort of like a shaved crystal on the inside, and he's kind of like turning it. It almost has this device that permits him to sort of move it back and forth and turn it, and he's using it to look at Aventail, to take a look at the defenses and everything. But none of them have seen you yet, and so Amara turns to you and says, "I'm going to go straight into that tent. My knights are going to hold the position here, and they're going to make sure that none of the goblins get up the hill to disrupt us while we do our work. But those orcs, if they come out, I need you to take care of them and keep them off my back."
How many orcs are there?
Yeah, what are we dealing with?
You can't
That
tell.
we can see.
There's a big. You can only see the one, but there is a big tent. Like there could be like a dozen of them in there.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, so what's now? It's a tent, right? Like it's made of hide. Like you could like tear and sort of get into it. But or you can go through the flap, which is the door. What do you want to do?
What do you think, John?
I wouldn't mind having a peek in there first. Can I cut like a and like?
Yeah, little people.
Right. If you want to do that, give me a stealth roll.
6.
Hey.
That is sufficient. So you very nimbly tread over. You're a fighter too, so you have a fighter's instinct for where people will be sitting and standing. And so you cut this little slit, and you take a peek inside, and you see that there are 7 orcs in there, and they are armed, and they are armored, and they are arguing, and some of them are eating. They have like meat. Some of them seem to be eating goblin meat,
Eat 4 goblins.
And some of them actually seem to be. Some of them seem to be huddled around a. Basically, they've sort of like wet the dirt to create like almost like a clay mud, and they're sort of drawing in the clay mud, and they're drawing like a square with like a sort of a circle belt around it, and they've got sort of like X's, and they've got like various like circles and squares around this representation of Aventail, and like they've got the big molars from the lower jaw that hang out as tusks, and they're like right, and I should say some of them are female, some of them are male, but they are sort of uniform in their. They look like they're all part of the same mercenary company. They have the same sort of burnished looking armor, and most of them have the same sword, which is unusual for orc traditionalists. Orc traditionalists would have axes, but they have swords which are basically just very long cleavers, right? Like it is a very long cleaver, so it's just like one edge, and then in like a rectangular shape, so not at all for stabbing, just for hacking. And one of them is actually sharpening his with a whetstone. One of them seems to be nursing a bit of a wound, but the others are sort of like debating this dirt map. And as I said, there's 7 of them.
I think we should come in from the back. That way their attention will be to where we are and not to where the knights are. And then we'll just kill as many of them as we can.
Could we set this on fire?
But then we have to go in. We need to keep the orcs from coming out.
And
that's
also,
true.
that plan they're making and that eyepiece thing could be useful.
Okay. Yeah, I think the back would be best because we don't.
I like fire.
If it happens, it happens. We won't try.
Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah. It's because if we go around the front, there's no guarantee there's not more in front of the tent. So we want to at least deal with the ones that we know are there. So yeah, I say go in the back. Do a big old Classic entrance.
Okay, are you just gonna like rip it and like burst into the scene like Kool-Aid Man?
Oh, you blaggards!
I would like to like quietly slit the thing and then burst in like a ninja assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That does make more sense.
Amara is like, she's fine with this. Since you are getting the drop on them, you all get to start the first round with your EP.
Beautiful.
And you will get first attack as well. So tell me turn order, and we will get started.
Go for it.
I feel like La Brea should go first.
With the option to charm or mesmerize, perhaps?
Yeah.
Very powerful spells.
Yeah, so maybe like La Brea and then me and then Elroy.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so if we start with EP, I'm going to attempt to... So, do they need to see me for me to charm and mesmerize them?
Yes. Because you have to be like,
yeah.
Look into my eyes.
Yeah.
Go toward the window.
I mean, I could go
okay.
in and get their attention as a goblin.
Yeah, I feel like us bursting through the slit we made
works.
will be enough of it. We still have a surprise.
They'll look.
Yeah.
So yeah, I jump through the slit that we made and go, behold, whoever, behold your doom, behold my splendor.
And then we find out where Elroy got the belt as La Habrea's pants just fall down.
Roll a d6 to ensure that doesn't happen.
Okay, that was actually 6.
Okay, all right, good. That doesn't happen. Your belt is in place, and it's just perfect. Really holds the outfit together.
It'd be very embarrassing to do this in front of orcs. My God. So among all the creatures,
yeah, I'm sure wood elf penises compared to orc penises.
All right, so that is a 10 versus will against 2 of the orcs, and I'm charming them, so they will attack themselves.
Okay. All right, so for no reason, no perceivable reason, orc mercenary Yagath and orc mercenary Korath, who had previously, one of them had been sharpening and the other had been eating goblin meat, just like stand up, and they're like, and they take out their cleaver swords, and they just like basically they each take an identical hack in like the right shoulder, like whack whack. And let's see how much damage they take.
Hell, bro! What are you talking, bro?
8 damage and 8 damage on each.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's just a big Final Fantasy 8.
Okay. And that brings us... Okay, and the minute this has happened and you burst through, like, the other orcs are like, battle! Like, basically, like all the cleaver swords are out. They're all, like,
Amazing.
bellowing. Like, their tusks are, like, hanging down because they're like,
I love battle!
and like they're like tearing their shirts for no reason if they're wearing shirts.
Wait, did they just Hulk Hogan?
Yes.
Nice.
It's traditional, right? Like, and you see they're all like battle scarred. They've got like also like ritual scarification and like all this sort of the tattoos and everything showing their like clans and oaths and vendettas and like everything. Like they're just covered, and they're like battle. So that brings us to normal mode because you still have the element of surprise.
All right, John bursts in with his brand new knuckle dusters, and basically just like he comes up behind the first one he sees, grabs him by the shoulder and punches him in the spine twice.
Oh.
Oof.
So that is a crit to hit.
Oh.
And a 10 to hit.
I really hope this thing didn't have plans later, because...
Both hits.
Okay, so that is 10 plus 16... 19 damage.
Dang. Yeah, crack your bones, crack your bones, crack your
Now,
bones.
just for clarity, those were just two
Two
unarmed
punches.
attacks. That wasn't like a wrestling move or anything. Okay.
No. So right now I used my fighter EP, so my defense and hit is increased.
Smart. Okay. That brings us to Elroy.
He's still up. Oh my gosh. All right, good to know. Elroy is going to... since I am the only healer, I will have pulled a healing potion. So I've got that on my EP. But in the meantime, I will just try to hit one of them with a sling as I come through the door. And I'll just hold on to my healing potion for later.
And is this like a spin around sling, or is this like a Dennis the Menace style slingshot?
I like to think it varies. Like, I don't know that they have rubber, but like sometimes I swing it around my head on the end of the stick. Actually, now it's more I broke the staff, and it's like the bottom half of it is the blunderbuss. And then, or like actually the top half, and I just have a cork to go in the barrel, so I can have it barrel down as a walking stick, and then I can like put the Y part at my shoulder as like the shoulder rest.
And you leave the cork in, so everyone's like, "Oh, it's just a pop gun." Boom.
Yeah, exactly. And then anyway, so I don't have that, so I'll just pull back the sling.
Are you
or I'll try
targeting anybody
anyway.
in particular?
Yeah, just let's double down on the guy that John already punched, and I'll just
just for information, that orc actually has the unfortunate name Rug. Like his
Rug.
name is Rug.
I'm going after Rogue.
He is getting grappled. What is your to hit?
I roll. Hold on, I gotta find slings again. So I rolled a 5 plus 4, so that's 9 to hit.
That's a hit.
And I do a
It's
D8
D10.
blunt.
Oh, D8.
Oh, okay.
I got 6.
Oh.
And that's it. And I'll just scurry over to the side somewhere, and like I've got that goblin mask like up on my forehead, like a pair of goggles, but instead it's the face of a goblin. And I'll kind of scurry over and look for something to duck behind.
Rug is bloodied, like he's like it's like, "Ugh," but like this is not the most amount of damage he's taken in his life. Amara like strides through the door, reaches behind her back, pulls out this double-bladed sword. Like it's got one short sword and then like a curved handle in between, another short sword sticking on the bottom, and she just curls her hand around it like this, and suddenly both blades light up like just sunlight, just
Nice.
Shit.
because she is a paladin enchantress, and she's just enchanted her weapon. It's called her Peregrine Sword. A lot of people in Avondale know about it, and that's her turn. She doesn't do anything else. She just holds it up and just.
And John's like,
And Labre is like averting my gaze.
Yes.
Do not look.
It is sunlight.
Yes, I'm not. Yeah, not taking chances.
And it deals like radiant vampire destroying damage.
Yeah, I'm not going to read that.
luckily there's no vampires around.
Come on,
It's
La
good,
Brea.
yeah.
Why are you standing back there?
Because
Okay.
All right, let's get our asses kicked by some orcs
Okay,
for a bit.
so all 7 of these orcs turn on you. You get Korath, Rug,
Come
Orak,
on.
Hold, Bork, and Ortog.
Bork.
His name's Bork.
the Swedish
Son's
chef's
name is
cousins,
also
or-
Bork.
Battle! Okay.
No relation.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 of them are attacking. Oh wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yes. So 1 of them is attacking Mara. So Yagath and Korath, who are the 2 that were injured by the charm, because they attacked each other. Now kind of like do a double take, and they see this human fighter, this very normal looking human fighter, and they both like turn their cleaver swords to hit him. That's a 10 to hit.
Ooh.
And a fumble. So did the 10 hit?
I have to check.
Give it
It's
9.
willed defense, so
Oh,
that
right.
is a 9. So yes, that's a hit.
Okay.
Oh, 8 damage. Oh, and I forgot. They have weapon mastery, so I'm re-rolling that fumble.
No,
But I don't think this is it. This is an 8 to hit.
that's a miss.
Okay, so 8 damage. And then the 2 next mercenaries, Rug and Orok, 9 to hit and 7 to hit on Habria.
The 9 is a hit. 7 is not.
That is 9 damage.
Okay. 41.
And then Orok and Hold, that is a 10 to hit and a 7 to hit on Elroy.
Sorry, what was the first one?
10 and 7.
So the 10 hits, the 7 misses.
And it is 12 damage.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So basically that cleaver sword just went right across the chest. And are you wearing armor of any kind?
I think I have leather.
Yeah, so it basically...
And I have a
like,
shield.
It's... Okay. So I'm going to say that it like...
Actually, I
you
don't have
sort
a
of-
shield. I don't have a leather. I do have a shield. So it's just the shield.
Okay, so it basically like planed off the shield, kind of like shaved a little bit off of it and kind of gets you in the chest. And they're like, "Whoa, battle!" And then Ortog tries to hit Amara, and she just like lowers the Peregrine sword and it just like misses her. Which brings us to the top of the round. Now I have an interesting gimmick here for determining whether or not these orcs have rolled EP, and these guys have this round. So they have their rage on, and so they're going to be resisting damage. So 3 out of these 7 are like, battle! The other guys are just like, battle! Battle! Like, just
More
like,
feeling.
The bloodthirst is just like, it's going nuts.
So charm the ones that are screaming louder.
Yes. So I did roll EP this round. Would it make more sense for me to vex them or charm them? Because they deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, keep.
I feel like I should
charm 'em.
vex them.
Okay.
Charm?
Come
Yeah.
on, Bowie.
Sorry, do you want them to attack each other, or do you want them to be frozen?
I personally am a big fan of killing them quickly, but if you want to survive the fight, that's up to you.
Yes, you know what? Actually, I will. I'm going to try and charm the ones that are raging out.
Wait a
So
minute.
that is
Does this mean
that
it's
effect.
vamp on vamp kind of counter?
I don't know where the second
Charming.
vampire is coming from.
There are no vampires in this room.
Oh,
They're
not
all
in here.
It's vamp on orc, which is fine.
Vamp on orc.
Yeah, so that's actually affected 4 of them. And they need to roll a 8 versus will.
Okay, so 4 of them.
And I'll try to affect the hulked out ones. Plus the
Resist,
random.
fail, fail, fail. So 3 of them have failed. So what is the effect here? Are you mesmerizing them or what?
No, sorry, this is actually the charms. They're going to be attacking their allies.
With
Okay.
their extra rage.
Oh, you're attacking the or so. Well, you missed on one. So two of the enraged and one of the non-enraged are rolling this. So that's a hit. That's a hit. Oh, they automatically hit. I forgot. Sorry, pardon me. So yeah. Otherwise, it's like a spell that might not do any damage at all.
Right.
So that's 8 damage. So this guy's that much. Holy smokes! Okay, that guy. Ooh, okay. He rolled really high on his damage. 17 damage. That's Rug actually.
Oh, dang.
Rug's get some
Rug has been
anger.
Rug has been killed.
Rug has been killed. Korath basically killed Rug, even with his damage resistance. And pardon me, and Orok has also taken 11 damage.
Ooh, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah, why not? Okay, that takes us to normalman.
We got one shot.
Well, I don't have EP, so I'm going to use a minor to flop over the shield and pull out the mace, and then clubby on the guy that Rog hit.
Okay.
With a 9 to hit.
That's a hit.
And that is... 10 damage.
10 minus 4 is 6.
Ooh, that's quite the...
Okay. Elroy.
Use your blunderbuss.
Yeah, I don't think we're being quiet anymore. So I'll flip the sling around and like pop the cork out of the end because it's one of those slightly trumpet flare kind of ends.
Uh-huh.
And I'll pull a potion out. There's like two horns. Yeah, exactly. And there's kind of two things that I pour down the barrel as I do this in a hurry. I pour the first, pour the first one down. It kind of, then I grab another thing and I pour it down there, and it just starts bubbling and steaming. And I drop the big chunk of metal in there, and then it like hisses like a kettle about to go, and this, and then I aim it at the thing, and I hope I hit. I do have EP, by the way, so I roll for that.
Who are you aiming it at? There's Yegeth and Korath, who are enraged still, even though they've taken some damage. And then there's 4 other orcs, Orok, Hold, Bork, and Ortog.
I'm going to go for the one that looks the most hurt.
Okay, that would be Korath.
Okay, I'm aiming for that one. And it's, that'll be that's probably going to miss. I rolled a 3 and I get 4, so 7 to hit versus your D6 and Dex.
It's versus Dex. And these orcs are not very dexterous.
All right.
Whoops. Let's roll in a D12. I'm like,
so I got 7.
How do I do?
You've
6.
got to beat a 7.
Oh,
so,
nice.
All
right.
What's the damage?
So blunderbuss is 10 plus my level is 15 plus a D8. So this
Whoa.
done. Oh, and I rolled max damage. Oh
Ah.
yeah. So that's what is that? 23
23.
damage. I'm just
Very
like,
nice.
And just for the visual of it, I'm just line it up, and it's not going for a second. I'm like waiting, and I shake it, and the guy looks at me with a like, and then it goes off in his face, and I go flying backwards from the recoil. Just.
Okay, so you hit him in the face.
I'm assuming
Okay.
somewhere in the upper.
Well, so the force of the ball hitting him in the face basically breaks his teeth and his tusk and goes into his cheek and rips out the other side. So if he was not ugly before, he is very ugly now, and he is very injured. But that damage resistance is really helping him out right now.
No kidding.
He's like.
So you just see this little goblin head poke up over the bunk or pile of furs or something that I just got blasted behind, and then it keeps rising up, and it turns out it's the goggles perched on the top of my head. I'm like, did that work? Oh, sorta. And that's my check.
Come on, Amara.
So Amara has rolled her EP, so you guys all get +1 checks for the round.
Ooh.
This is her paladin aura, and she basically walks up to Ortog and just like cuts his throat and spears him in the gut, like with 2 ends of the blade, and both attacks, like it's basically just like a very sunny blur, and just cuts him wide open. And it's like golden sunlight off of just rippling blood as this thing goes down. Ortog is killed.
Yikes. On the 5?
Okay. Which brings us to the top of the round for the orcs. So these guys now have rage. So they're like, battle! Because they saw their friend go down. So they're like, battle! But Yagath, oh wait, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so Yagath is attacking Normalman with a 10 to hit. Is that a hit? That's 11 damage. Cleaver sword. Horath is also attacking Normalman, but that is only a 7 to hit. I take it
that's a miss. Like the shield comes up and
clank. Orok is attacking Lahabria with a crit. That's 18 damage.
Ooh.
Basically, like leaps across the room and just like straight up and just brings it down right on top of your, like, it was probably going to split your head in half, but I'm going to say that, you know, it didn't quite get it there, so we kind of got you like on the shoulder right there, where the right, I'm sure it's going to go right through the collarbone, and probably sever quite a bit of stuff there, because that's a significant amount of damage.
Yeah.
And then you fall to the ground, and he's just like, and
you're gonna drink that guy's blood.
Spittle's just shooting out of his mouth. And Holg, who also wants to get in on the action, sees Lahabria fall and attacks with a 9 to hit.
Yeah.
Doesn't do nearly as much damage. 9
God.
damage. Basically just sweeps the ground where you're lying, and you know suddenly this sword is sprayed up at the top of the tent. So your blood, which I assume is completely black, is sort of like spraying the inside of the tent. Are you down?
Nope. I'm still got 14 left.
Okay.
John
and
makes
the
a
last-
note of the color of blood.
It's normal where I'm
And-
from.
And the last mercenary, Bork, who is enraged, tries to take a swing at Amara, but she actually, like, with her gauntlet, just like grabs his hand as he's trying to bring down the sword and just like twists it. So that's a miss. Top of the round, La Habria.
Ooh, so I can take a potion of the minor, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do that. So 2d4 plus 4. Because I will not... Oh, that was terrible. 7 back, so up to 21. Please get EP.
The potions
No.
are fizzy, so you just shake it up, and then you just go tss, and you.
Really, it's just a
Uh,
whippet of healing.
So no EP, unfortunately. Who looks among these two that attacked me is worse for wear?
The two that attack you are actually pretty healthy. So it's really just like Korath, who
See
had
if
most
you
of
can-
his face like blunderbust off.
Yeah.
Like he's probably not going to make it through the night, like one way or another.
Right.
But everybody else is pretty healthy looking.
Could I make it to him? To Korath? Or like kind
You
of wade
were
through these
knocked
duties?
pretty hard. I'm gonna
Right.
say you don't have a lot of movement, so
Okay.
you're gonna have to get back up on your feet.
Okay, was the second one who attacked me, was he enraged as well?
Yeah, he's in range.
The both of them are.
Orok and Hold both are.
Okay. Well, without EP, I can kind of only attack, so I'll attack.
I was gonna say, go Bowie, go full Bowie.
Yeah, I wish I could. Oh, that's a crit and a 8 to hit.
Both are hits.
Okay, so that is... So that's 12 damage for sure, and another... Where's my 8 when I need it? It's pretty... 88, right? Yeah. 8, so 20 damage total.
20 damage.
So the rapier's gonna come off my belt, go...
That is 16. Okay. He's bloodied. And that takes us to Elroy.
Him.
Oh wait, no, normal him. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So John is taking a look at what he's got going on and rushes the half-faced orc, mace held high,
Oh,
with crit to hit.
Korath.
Ooh, Korath.
Okay,
Just let me know him.
So that is 8. So 4.
Oh, he did.
4 is 8 plus. So that's 12 damage.
Yeah, he did. You just described it.
Yeah, so basically, he comes rushing in with shield up and the mace up, and Korath goes to like raise his arms up to protect himself, and John just knees him in the crotch with like such force that he bites off his own tongue, and as he's lying in pain, he also just bleeds to death.
Ugh. Nasty.
And while he's bleeding
Love
to
it.
death on his own nut blood, I pop a healing potion.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Right.
is it too metagamey to ask if La Habrea can heal from my concoctions?
We
I
said that
can-
he can.
He
Yeah,
can.
healing
We said
potions are
that he
fine.
can, but he cannot heal from the spells that Jackie is the fell.
Right.
casts.
At all. Because I'm cursed.
That's fair.
Yeah, curse.
So
You got
point that out.
black blood.
You should
got
just
mesmerism
like
powers.
abstain, like you're vegan or something. You're like, no, I
No,
possibly.
sorry.
I'm full. I'm full.
In my culture, we
I'm
don't.
full health.
I'm sorry.
It's like, are you sure? You look like you're bleeding pretty badly. Oh no, it's full health.
No, it's good. It's good.
That is not
You
allowed.
just look this way.
So I can't have that. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will use my previously rolled potion and chuck it over to La Habrea. Is that my turn to administer that, or it's a healing concoction?
I thought
I had it earlier. It was prepped, and I held it.
1 second.
No problem. And also, what's the difference between a minor action and a major action?
So like minor action is something small like changing weapons or talking or drinking a potion, whereas a major action, is like anything you need to roll dice for, like an attack, or some minor actions you would roll dice for, but generally it's like minor actions are like little things like.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you say? No, I'll basically give away the minors, but no. Rummaging around, grabbing a potion, and tossing it over to La Habrea, that's your action. So you can
the
also
thing is,
quaff.
I held my EP from when we first walked in, so I had already rummaged at the very beginning. So I was ready to go.
Yeah, that's the first.
And then I just held on to that like on a belt or something.
That's fine. So I'll say that that's a minor then. So you just you huck it to him, and then you do whatever you want with your turn.
Sure. So that'll be my minor, and then I don't know if that eats my EP. I'll roll. I got it. All right. I'll give this a try. You know what? I'm gonna give it this a try. I'm gonna firebomb as well. So I chuck the. Oh no! You what? Let's scratch that. I'm gonna rummage again. So I chuck the healing concoction to you. So that's 2d6 plus 4 when you use it. And then I will rummage again, but this time it's for a revitalizing concoction, which I then hold in my mouth. And there you go. All right. And that'll be my minor and major.
Cool.
And I'll just try to find somewhere to hide.
Okay. Amara speeds over to Aura and flat out kills him. Just goes like this, bam, with one end of the blade, and like just sticks his foot into the ground. And the orc is like, ah, and then she just splits his jaw open and just like brains up to the top of the tent and just spins the blade, like just unnecessarily, to sort of retreat back to one side of the tent. And you know, anyway. Wow. So Orok has also been slain, notwithstanding his damage resistance. And that takes us to the top of the round. So Yegeth now has the battle rage because he's seen more of his friends fall, so he is like naturally really, really enthusiastic about battle because he's like, battle!
I'm gonna die a hero.
And he sees that you and now, which one of you is the most wounded? Because he just rolled a crit on his observation.
I would say I am.
Yeah, I'm only down about 6 after that potion. How's
Alright?
Oh, me? I was trying to be sneaky, but I'm down 12.
Oh yeah, that's
You're
right.
down to 12, or you're down by 12?
I'm down by 12. So not quite half.
Okay. And vampire guy over here?
I'm at less than half.
Which is about how much?
21.
Okay. I'm going, because you know these aren't like mindless beasts. I'm gonna say that when Yagath is like, Not all. They're all going to converge on El. Well, you know what?
Cool.
Yep. The dice have also spoken Elroy. So they
Good
are
thing you have
going
that
to
revive
converge.
potion.
8 to hit.
8 is a tie.
Tie goes to PC, so it's not a hit.
Phew.
So the Rager doesn't hit you. 9 to hit is a hit.
Yep.
That's a 10 to hit is a hit. So let me just calculate out the damage.
2/3.
Holg and Bork are both like, "Ah," and they're gonna sort of charge at you at the same time from 2 different directions. So it's
Can
a
I
real,
say
like,
that the first miss,
like
swung
strike.
and hit the mask off my forehead?
Yeah.
So the goblin
Cool.
head like thwacks against the wall.
And when he does that, he's like, "Oh, not a goblin!"
Not a woman. All right, I didn't hear the damage on those 2 hits.
That's because he was doing math.
That's not a
31
good thing.
damage.
I am down.
31.
They just like, and so you're down. I'm gonna say that the revitalize potion that you held in your teeth kind of falls out of your mouth, and both Normalman and Habria recognize what it is, so you could pick it up next time we have a round.
Okay.
Well, that hurt. Well,
Killed me too.
Which brings us to the top of the round. La Habria, what are you gonna do?
All right. Let's see. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna try and see if I get AP, because if I could. No. Oric was the one that I injured previously, right?
Holg is uninjured. Yugeth has some injury, but he's enraged.
Okay. And so there's 3 left?
Yep.
I didn't get AP, unfortunately, so I can't do the thing I'm good at, which is casting spells. I will go after Egeth.
Okay.
That's a 8 to hit.
That's a hit.
And also an 8 to hit.
That's also a hit.
Okay.
So you got the twin rapier thing going on?
Yeah, so that's 12. 21 damage to Egeth, minus whatever.
Ooh.
21 minus 4 is 18. No, wait. 17.
And I will use
my bloodied.
I'll use my minor to quaff that potion that Elroy had so generously tossed my way. For those, sorry, 2d6 plus 4?
Yes.
Okay. That is not very much. 11 back. So 32.
Normalman.
Are there any that are not raged?
Yeah, Holg and Bork.
And which of those 2 are the most injured?
Neither of them are injured at all.
Ooh, then I'm gonna kick my ass. Kick some Bork.
Finish off the bloodied one.
You know, it's funny because when I first described the scene, I said that some of them are female. But when I came up with the names, I guess I never really sort of in my mind said, well, some of these names are female names. So I'm going to say Bork is female. She's like very tall. She has like very long hair that's been like braided with like tiny bones, like the finger bones of maybe elves. And she has not as large tusks, like they're smaller white tusks. They still jut out from the lower jaw. And she has very long, nice legs. But that doesn't occur to you. A, because she's trying to kill you, and B, because you at this point only have eyes for Amara. Go ahead.
I got 2 10s to hit.
Those are 2 hits.
Okay. And then...
You really weren't distracted.
all business. 18 damage from the 2 punches.
Whoa.
This would actually be pretty cool to see, because she's got this big cleaver sword, and you, like, get in there with, like, a couple of,
I come in and, like, I push the sword out of the way, and, like, I punch, like, underneath the armpit and try to pop a couple of ribs.
Yeah.
And then the other hand comes in, just, like, in, like, right where the kidney's gonna be.
Yeah.
We're gonna die in here.
I'm busy doing that.
Oh yeah, we should have. Can I use a minor to pick up the revive potion that he dropped?
Yes, you can. You can use a minor to pick it up, but it would have been like an action to like resuscitate and like bring him back up. Okay, which brings us to Amara. She similarly is just gonna like. Basically, you see her take like 2 really rapid steps, and then she just like slides to whatever part of the room she needs to be in. Like it's just like step, and she's there, and the blade is constantly just like dragging beams of sunlight as she like just flies from one end of the tent to the next. Yagat, who's like battle. Yeah, that's a. She same thing. Just she spins, and it's like one cut severs half his neck, and the other cut severs the other half of his neck. And the head just goes rolling past her left shoulder, and she like lands with her right elbow like right in the headless torso's chest, like just knocks him down. And she turns around and she's like, battle indeed. So that's the end of Yagath. Which brings us to Holg and Bork. We'll say that they're both female. Holg is also female. It seems like a female-ish name, I guess. And they are targeting the Das Vampir. Because Das Vampir seems the most injured. And they're both enraged. Battle! That is a 9 to hit.
That is a hit.
Oh shoot! I dropped my dice.
I
dropped my dice. And a 10 to hit.
That is also hit.
Okay. So let us see here. Yeah, that's. Sorry, math. So one of them basically does like a golf swing, and the other one coming from the other direction does like a southpaw baseball swing with these cleaver swords. So sort of like spinning you as you get hit on both sides. 31 damage.
Is that
They've got the
0
rage
exactly?
bonus.
Oh, 1.
1 hit point.
Nice.
If I did not take that potion, I would be down.
Okay. Okay.
It's your EP, dude.
Okay. That takes us to the top of the round, La Habrea. Just vomit some blood.
Oh, it's EP. Imagine that. So, are either of them injured at all?
Yeah, Bork.
Okay.
Beautiful Bork has taken a couple of punches to the ribs.
All right. Well, let's see if how they enjoyed dealing with the Will of 9 or Be Charmed.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Will of 8. will of 8. They are both charmed. And they see each other, and they're just like... and they're just like, Barrow! And they both just attack you, and then they see that you're actually, like, beautiful. No one is more beautiful than me. And so they attack each other. And I'm just going to roll the damage because it's auto hit. But you'll be... I rolled a 2 and a 3 on a pair of d12s. Sorry. It's 27. Okay, good. I know my 9 times table. Okay, normal.
I'll use a minor potion, actually.
Yeah? Anybody want to heal Elroy?
Yeah.
You know, not
Yeah.
saying you have to.
I got my EP, so I'm gonna use my minor to put my shield on, and then I'm gonna use my major action to revive Elroy.
Sick.
I'm coming home, Anelda. What the fuck was
So
that?
how much does Elroy have?
Let me just read that real fast. 2d6. 4. 9 plus 4 is 13, so I'm at 13 HP.
And I'm gonna like get in front of him with my current 11 in defense.
Okay, just a second. This will be worth it. As you're reviving him, Amara just walks over and grabs Elroy by the scruff and hauls him up to his feet. And she's like, "On your feet, soldier!" And instantly heals him 16. That's a lay on hands. That's a paladin ability.
Okay, I'm
And
almost
as her
full again.
minor, she's gonna memorize the sketch in dirt that was made on the ground, and that takes us to the orcs again. Neither of them have rage anymore. They're like, so help me to remember who is still up. So Elroy has been healed pretty decently.
I'm almost full.
La Habrea is pretty injured. He's also muted. I mean, Bo is muted.
I'm at 10.
Okay. And Normalman is still pretty decent?
Pretty full.
Okay. They are going to target one on Normalman, one on La Habrea.
Classic.
La Habrea, that is a 7 to hit. I'm assuming not a hit.
That is not a hit, thank God.
And that is a 10 to hit on Normalman.
That's a miss.
Wow.
Ooh.
With
Your defense
the
is
with the
really high.
shield, yeah, it's 11 right now.
That's because of your fighter ability,
Yeah.
or is it just
Fighter
Okay.
plus shield. See,
Yeah.
maybe more. Yeah, no, it's 11.
Okay. All right. So that is what they have done. So it's your turn, La Habrea.
Roll DP.
Nice.
I'm gonna charm him again.
Charmageddon.
I'm gonna jump in here and say, La Habrea, you haven't fed in a while.
Okay.
So, and you've been pretty badly injured. Like,
Yeah.
even though you drank some healing potions or whatever, you lost a lot
Yeah.
of blood. So you are either going to need to feed, like,
Oh.
within this encounter, or
Okay.
like very soon thereafter.
Is there like a table like I could knock one of them over into, or
No, it's
No.
on these tables.
John kind of looks at La Habrea and then points back out the tent and is like, Commander, we've got this pretty cleared up. Why don't you check on the men?
So I'm going to attack one of them, whoever looks more injured, I guess. And I'm going to do it by like rushing, kind of like pouncing at one of them to kind of mask the fact that I'm going.
You've got a cape, right? So you can be like, oh.
Yeah, so I'm essentially I'm gonna kind of like let the cape kind of like float over in front of me, so it actually covers what I'm doing to the extent possible.
And Amara is like, don't tell me what to do. But she does like glance out and she sees that like a goblin is maybe trying to take that like circle thing that they were using to spy on the keep, and she's like, stupid goblin, and she basically like rushes out the tent, like sort of like burns a cut through the tent as she exits. So she is not within sight as La Habrea goes to like drain this orc like a Slurpee.
So that is a crit. So that would be 10 damage.
This is on Bork?
Yes.
Okay. Describe it.
So to this point, I've largely been like just controlling people, moving people around. This is like the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. Like, I just sink my teeth in like exactly where that jugular is, and just blood is spraying absolutely everywhere. And like I'm just covered, face, cloak, jacket, doublet, everything is just red, like red as far as you can possibly see. And it's warm, it's sticky, it's really tasty, and I'm back up to 20 with that.
Okay. I'm gonna say that for like campaign purposes, there's no plausible way that like Normalman and Elroy do not now know that you are a vampire.
Of course, I was pretty sure before.
Yeah. Seemed pretty likely, but now it's like, okay, he's definitely a vampire.
Yeah.
And I just look at Normalman and look at Tibet. You gonna finish that? Got a little on your chin.
Yeah.
Dude!
So, but thanks to that little ruse, Amara does not know that La Habrea is a vampire, and that takes us to Normalman. And
There's still
really
one
only
more
Folan.
orc, right?
Yeah.
Orc, who is, like, just a
They
little
saw
bit
that, right?
wounded.
Tell me they are terrified of that.
No, Holg is like, you've killed her like whole like mercenary company, and like she like lusts for death at this point.
Well,
She's
here
just,
it comes.
Here we
she's
go.
like,
So I got my
an honorable
EP.
death.
That is a 5, 9, 11 to hit and a crit.
How much damage is that?
And this is melee, or is this weapon?
No, this is like I'm going in with fists of flying.
Yeah.
Nice.
So 19 damage. This is like the first time she's been hit this round too.
I think it is, yeah.
This round.
Or this game.
No. Hold
she does-
damage before.
Okay.
Not a lot, but before. I think she had resistance before. Elroy.
Check her down.
She's still up, huh? Let me see if I have my EP.
I'm gonna say that like I went over and like punched her in the guts and then like elbowed her in the back, and I kind of got into her headlock, and I'm like trying to point her face toward the butt of Elroy's gun.
And I rolled a 3, so dramatically I pour the stuff in. I'm like, and I aim it at her, and it goes.
Come
and
on!
just smoke comes out. I'm like,
Then she gets out, and I'm like,
I will, since I did not get AP, I will just I don't want to get very close. I'll dagger. Just pull my new dagger out and try to stab her. Oh, crit. So 12 total. And and damage. Hold on, one sec. Only 9 damage, but sorry, it's a
when
13.
You crit with when you crit with a dagger, it's I think it's 10 plus your dex.
Oh, yeah, right, so be 14 technically.
Okay. So you actually I'm gonna say that you roll in Sonic the Hedgehog style and just like that.
Nice.
So so I'm basically gonna fade to cutscene here. Holg is like, give me an honorable death. And you've stabbed her, you've tried to shoot, you've done all this stuff. And Amara comes back in and
I'm just panting, being
Holg, and lifts her in the air and is like, who's paying you? And Holg is like, I'll you've defeated my whole company. I'll never talk. I'm not gonna tell you, you piece of shit. And so Amara spins the peregrine sword and just levels it straight into her gut, and then uses the enchantment again to just basically do a burst of radiant damage inside Holg, and Holg is like, ah! And Amara's like, talk, you fiend! Who sent you? Who sent you? Does that several times more, and she's like, I'll spare you if you talk. And Holg is like, okay, just stop, I'll tell you. There's a vampire in Watergo. Watergo is the troll encampment under this broken bridge. There's a vampire in Watergo. And then Amara is like, that wasn't so hard, was it? And then basically pulls out the blade, and then with the other side just beheads Holg, just despite her promise to spare Holg, and then basically turns to you and says, what we're looking for isn't here. And she said, but I memorized the map, and we've taken their looking glass.
Spry eye.
And so she starts heading out of the tent, and you can see that one of her knights has been killed by goblins, but the other 3 are still up, although wounded. Several of them have little shivs kind of sticking into the weak points in their armor. And she's like, back to the castle, and they're all fall in line, and they start running down, and you can start running towards the castle. But Elroy notices something, which is that stone that the wizard gave you, the wizard Kemet, that archmage in the tower, starts glowing really brightly, literally sun brightly. And so I'm going to end it now because we're at exactly midnight. You have to decide whether you go back to Aventale, or whether you go, whether you try and get back to the wizard's tower. You know where the wizard's tower is. You're just going to have to find that roped ladder to get back up. And I'm going to say that several goblins saw what happened. They're because they saw all these orcs get butchered, and in particular they saw one orc getting tortured to death. And they're like, and they're like, yeah! And they're like, scrub bucket, mob head.
Yeah, spilled your spaghetti.
Anyway, so they'll run away. So that's the end of this session. You guys will have to decide what you want to do. You want to head back to Aventale. There's an inn, stuff like that. you want to go to the Archmage because this stone is flashing really brightly. And there's probably some difficult conversations along the way because you've now all discovered that the Habria is a friggin' vampire.
So, we got options, but are we gonna talk about that war crime that we just actually multiple? Eh? Sheath my new dagger, and I'm just like,
Can you tell me how much HP you have?
me?
All of you.
Yeah, I'm
20.
at 29 total out of 30. So
Oh, that's pretty
I'm
good.
also at 29.
Okay. So, and Amara and the Knights have left. So, yeah, we'll call it a night.
and
Sweet.
smash cut to us just staring back and forth at all three of us and the retreating knights.
I have nothing to hide.
But your love
Except for
is
your
running that way.
Raging.
Raging erection is pointing off to the left. And
Points like that.
Alright.
I'm
I
just
had this before. This isn't because of the fight.
Oh boy, we are all covered in blood. All right, at least you're not the
That's-
other one, Labria. All right, well, thanks. That was a lot of fun, and I guess we'll call it there. So, internet, join us again. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. Who knows? But you can always check it out on podcast places, and don't forget to answer the question: how do you pronounce wyvern, wyvern, wyverny? Probably not the last one.
Weaver.
Why? Wyvern.
Wyvern.
Anyway,
Yeah,
thanks very much,
captions.
Brendan. Great to see everybody again. And I'm going to cut to credits and we'll make jokes and stuff behind the scenes. Ciao.
That's what I said. No.